Special session continues today in Austin. One main agenda item is congressional redistricting.
Texas House Republicans want to pass a new map to create more Republican-held seats. GMAT's Madeline McQuarrie is here now with details on how the proposal would change who represents East Texas. Madeline, good morning.
Good morning. The proposed Texas redistricting map would create 5 additional GOP-leaning districts heading into what's expected to be a challenging midterm election. President Donald Trump has urged Texas Republicans to reshape the districts in favor of the Republican Party. This latest plan was released less than 24 hours ago, so we're just getting our first look at the proposed changes. Beginning with District 1, as you can see in the yellow section, this district would lose Morris, Titus, Franklin, Camp, and Upshur counties. It would gain Cherokee and Nacogdoches counties. And here in the blue area, District 3 would pick up Hopkins, Franklin, Titus, and Morris counties. District 4, labeled in red, would lose Hopkins and Rains counties. And here is the proposed map for District 32, which is currently solely in the DFW area. You can see in this peach-colored section, it would pick up Rains, Wood, Camp, and Upshur counties. And here in pink, District 5 would pick up Anderson County. And East Texas, Houston, Trinity, and Polk counties would join District 10, that's in the green. And a major change, Angelina County would join District 36, shown in the red in the middle of your screen. Some Democratic state lawmakers have talked of walking out of the special session to block action before the session ends on August 19th. If it does not pass during this special session, Governor Abbott could call for another session.